The doors of the dorm opens and Mikoto steps through. She closes them behind her and walks forward. But she stops as soon as she sees Kongo about to exit the lobby. Oh, there you are. How do you feel now? A little better than before. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Kongo spots the novel in Misaka's left hand. I see that you chose to read something. Oh, you're talking about this. Yeah, I saw it and I decided to pick it out. Even with a book like Godzilla, I'm not sure if you'll like it. Especially at this time. Kongo, I can handle it. And based on the synopsis, it looked interesting. Well, let me tell you, it is such a good read. I feel like I was there, running from the monster itself. That's one way of putting it. Anyway, I better get going to my room before the supervisor snaps my neck. She turns to leave and walking up to the doors to the dorm itself. Oh, hang on a second. She stops and looks back at Kongo. A high school boy came by and wanted to check on you. Misaka right away realizes who she is referring to. He did? How long ago was that? Over 2 hours ago. Misaka looks away from Kongo and thinks to herself. It wouldn't be the first time Kamacho did that. I guess he was that worried about me. Come to think of it. She thinks back to the moment when Tomo revealed himself from behind the corner of Seven Mist. How much does he know about Godzilla? Did McIntyre told him before he told me? Say, isn't he your boyfriend? Mikoto's face blushes red when she heard that from Mitsuri. I don't know what you're talking about. He's just a good friend in need, that's all. Sure he is. All right, I better head off to bed. See you later. She walks past the embarrassed Misaka and walks down the hallway. Mikoto relaxes and her face returns to normal. Mikoto Misaka stops on the 5th floor outside of Judgment's 177 branch office. She knocks on the door and waits. She holds the Godzilla novel in her left hand very tightly and closes her eyes. This is it. I hope they don't laugh at me for this. The knob on the door turns and the door itself opens up. In their matching middle school winter uniform, Ruriko-san and Kazuri Ueharu, the latter of which is wearing a headband made of artificial flowers, sees who is at the door. They see their friend Mikoto, who smiles upon seeing them, but stops smiling as she spots bandages and medical tapes around their heads. San and Ueharu becomes overjoyed seeing her again. They passionately hug her with no hesitation. We're so glad that you're all right. Yeah, you had us worried sick. Are you okay? Jeez, I should be asking you that. What happened to you two? They stop hugging her and backs away 2 steps. They simultaneously rubs the back of their heads. Oh, about that, you know about Kuroko in the hospital, right? Yeah. Well, that same guy who attacked Kamajo and that nun did a number on us too. Misaka closes her eyes and lets out a sigh. Looks like I have another thing to worry about. She steps inside and closes the door behind her. Oh, don't worry about that. Toma is handling it from what he told me. Something that the level 5 is very used to with him. She walks past San and Ueharu to the middle of the office next to a pair of white couches to her right. Not surprised at all. Oh. Ruriko's Kage smirk disappears as she spots the novel in Mikoto's left hand. What's that? A book you're reading? Without saying a word, she lifts the book onto her shoulder, showing the cover to the 2 middle schoolers. Godzilla? What is it? The answer to everything that has happened. Huh? 6:15 a.m. Ueharu is sitting near the desktop at the end of the room, looking at the files within the USB drive that Misaka brought with her. Her golden brown eyes widens, her thick eyebrows lifts, and her right hand twitches. Satin holds the back of her long black hair with the same reaction. Misaka is the only one not reacting to what she and the girls are seeing. Kazuri looks up and down at the file with documents on the monster in question. This is what you found out? Yeah. Sun is completely stunned into silence. Ueharu turns to Mikoto. Are you sure about this? Without saying a word, she nods. Then, she digs into a checkered skirt and pulls out the pair of photographs. These were taken at 2 different locations. She hands them to the girls for them to look at. Both Satin and Ueharu looks at the photos, and right away, the level 0 and level 1 respectively are even more shocked. What the? They see the dorsal fins moving in the water and the head peering out of said water. And he is what's causing all of this. He? It has a gender? Where were these taken? Misaka remembers what McIntyre told her. Someone gave them to me when I was in Okinawa. He said he took them in Singapore in the Suez Canal. But I don't know when, though. An idea comes to Uriharu. Hold on. She minimized the files and switches to the live satellite feed of Earth. If I go to Singapore and find out what days they were taken, we might be able to see him. Her gasp is telling both Sun and Misaka that she has found it. They look, and their reaction is very similar. They stare at the live footage recorded on the afternoon of New Year's Day. They spot Godzilla swimming with his dorsal fins sticking out like a shark and moving very fast. Uriharu stops the footage and rewinds it. Then, she stops it right as the monster is swimming past an ocean liner. Is that him? Godzilla? Yeah, it is. How big is he? From the looks of it, and judging by the size of the ship. Misaka, you said Godzilla can walk on land, right? She nods her head, confirming it. Then from head to toe, he could be around 100 meters? No, 120 meters. Wait, if he's that big, how is he not crushed under his own weight? A question that Misaka herself cannot answer, but shrugs her shoulders. A monster that defies the square cube law. Fascinating. Hey, what about the Suez Canal? Kazumi turns to live footage of the Suez Canal in Egypt, then turns back a few days. She stops when she spots the monster again and pauses the footage, but the footage itself becomes a little distorted. There he is. Although, looking at him from this angle, it's hard to see the immense size of him. Well, it can only see things from a satellite's point of view, so there's nothing we can do about that. Wait a second. She spots a musical note. There's audio here. She quickly puts on a pair of headphones and plays the audio in real time. She listens closely to the audio, and Sun and Misaka waits for her. Her shuddering confuses the two girls. Suddenly, Kazari takes off the headphones and immediately holds her ears. Ueharu! What happened? I just heard something that did not sound like any animal on Earth. Wait, you heard him making sounds? I heard him roar. For the love of all that's holy, please don't listen to it. Will do. How loud was it? Like I'm in a heavy metal concert and the speakers are turned up to 11. That's how loud it was. She uncovers her ears and looks directly at the level 5. Misaka, whatever you just found is a discovery that everyone needs to know about. Mikoto Misaka is satisfied with Ueharu's response and nods her head. A conference is called in by one of Academy City's senior board of directors, Shinkichi Mifune. He sits in a single seat with a projection screen behind him and pieces of paper under his hands on the table. In front of him are cameramen aiming cameras at him. Behind them are journalists, reporters, and news anchors from different news stations. We go live in 30 seconds, people! The 58-year-old Mifune adjusts his tie and clears his throat. And to think that it was something else that we thought. His eyes looks down at the papers that his hands are lying on. Once this is out, this will change everything. We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The TV cameras turns on. Camera lights flashes at the man. All across Academy City, the broadcast is shown on every LED on buildings, TV, and radio via audio. Right away, most of the students, scientists, and law enforcement pays attention to the man on TV and radio. Good morning. My apologies for interrupting your regularly scheduled program, but this is a very important announcement, so I need all of your eyes and ears on this. And please, before we begin, do not, I repeat, do not take this with a grain of salt. He clears his throat before continuing. On New Year's Day, the civilian merchant cruiser The Body was sunk 160 kilometers off the coast of Sri Lanka. We concluded that it was an accident, but when the USS Greenville sank almost the same way, we started to think differently. We concluded that it was the work of one of Celtic Ireland's submarines. We all know that tensions between Ireland and the United Kingdom at this time are at an all-time high, and we suspected that it is spilling over into the Pacific. But then came Okinawa, and the trail of destruction that was left during Typhoon Miyakujima. Our opinions had completely changed and were in a state of confusion. The board of directors, myself, and Accelerator had thought that an Esper had gone rogue and went on a rampage. Until this morning, when all of our theories turned out to be wrong. Ironically, it was the third level 5 who brought it to our attention. He pauses and takes a sip of water from the bottle with the cameras flashing. Needless to say, we were very shocked to believe that this could be the real cause of everything that has happened in the past 3 days. But it is. The reporters write in their notepads and the cameras flashes. I am here today to announce that after a thorough investigation of our own, the sinking of the body in USS Greenville and the destruction in Okinawa were not caused by a Celtic submarine nor a rogue Esper from this city. The entire room and those watching and listening are now fascinated. However, a giant land and sea creature named Godzilla is the one responsible for all of this. Instantly, all of the reporters stop taking notes and look straight at Mifune with the most dumbfounded, confusing expressions on their faces. The cameraman and audience are having the same reaction as they are. Yes, I know. We had the exact same reaction as you do. However, what I'm about to show you is the greatest discovery of the 21st century. Mifune grabs the first paper and lifts it up for everyone in the room and on television to see. He shows the photograph of the monster rising from the water near the Suez Canal. The discovery of kaiju. The reporters in the room becomes astonished and shocked. Camera flashes at the man in photo. Reporters leans in closer to get a better look, and at the same time, everyone in Academy City is now more focused than ever before. Mifune sets the photo down and snaps his fingers. The lights turns off and the projector appears on the screen behind him. The man himself stands up and moves out of the way. He grabs a yardstick and walks back to the projector. Now, you all may think that what I just showed you was Photoshop. I can assure you that it wasn't. Take a look at this. The screen changes to the satellite footage of Godzilla swimming near Singapore. Mifune points the yardstick at the kaiju. On New Year's Day, Godzilla was spotted by our satellite feed before going under and disappearing. The slide changes to the Suez Canal. Days earlier, he was spotted entering the Suez Canal in Egypt. And yes, it does have a gender, it is a he. And there is meaning behind the name Gojira, God incarnate. Now you may think this is nothing, but we are about to play some audio from this day specifically. Full warning though, the sound is loud and unnerving. Mifune reaches down and pulls out a pair of noise-canceling headphones. He puts them on. The first recording of Godzilla's roar starts playing over the speakers, which sounds like someone is rubbing the strings of a bass with a leather glove. As expected, the entire room feels a chill down each of their spines. Suddenly, the audio plays his second roar. The sound jump scares everyone. The reporters even jump from their seats from the sudden sheer volume and intensity of the second roar. Once the audio finishes, the board of directors takes off the headphones. Needless to say, that Godzilla does not sound like any normal animal on Earth. And here's another thing. He picks on the yardstick and points at the screen as the projector chain slides. These are the ranges of both roars. The first can travel up to 14.48 kilometers, while the second roar can travel up to 28.96 kilometers, both in all directions. And if you are in the vicinity of either, you will go deaf. A great revelation to all those who were scared by the roars. Now, let's continue. Through our investigation, we managed to find something that is very alarming. The slide changes to the satellite image of the Trail of Destruction in Naha, Okinawa. He points the yardstick on said trail. This is the path of destruction that Godzilla took in Naha, Okinawa. Looking closer, you can easily spot a few footprints. However, we have been getting reports from the city itself that some of the doctors and rescue teams have been feeling sick when they were coming across or discovering these footprints. Sometime around 8 o'clock p.m. last night, this is what was happening to them. The slide changes to men and women vomiting, their hairs peeling off, and their skin becoming charred beyond recognition. As you can see, these people became sick. How is that possible? Well, the answer is simple. He reaches down underneath the seat and picks up something to show to the camera and reporters. Here in my hand is an actual piece of Godzilla's skin delivered to us by the Okinawan research team. For why this is inside of a sealed glass jar is simple. This is radioactive. The reporters instantly stops taking notes and looks at the man. The slide changes to an infrared-like image of the destruction. These areas in particular are contaminated with radiation, uranium-235 to be specific. Yes, indeed. This 120-meter kaiju is infected with elements of uranium-235. Everyone in the room becomes shocked and astonished. So is everyone else watching on TV and listening on the radio. Now, I would like to bring in some survivors to speak of their individual stories. Moments later, a few survivors from Okinawa presents their stories to the press and to the people watching. I was just cleaning up my office when suddenly there was a huge explosion. Next thing I know, my business was destroyed. It was very dark. Fortunately, my house wasn't affected by that kaiju. I tried finding my neighbors, but didn't have much luck. When I got the news, I was very devastated. We kept getting calls all night during the typhoon. When we got there, we couldn't believe what we were seeing. We never imagined that a kaiju did all that damage. The last ones to speak are Mizuzu and Mikoto Misaka. The three of us are going through a rough time with the loss of the two most beloved members of our family. My mother was a kind and gentle person, and she never lost faith in me. And my father was the bravest man that I have ever known. With both of them gone, I feel like there's a massive hole left open. Now that we know what was the cause, I urge the leaders of Academy City and Japan to take action against this kaiju. I will not rest until something is being done about it. The camera flashes as the man finishes his sentence. In just less than 30 minutes, Mifune, more importantly Mikoto Misaka, has proved Godzilla's existence to Academy City, and as expected, it did more than that. The news of Godzilla's existence spreads throughout Japan, with newspaper headlines such as "A giant kaiju looming in the Pacific" and "Godzilla discovered." The news takes over the topic of Ireland's civil war almost instantly. TV news stations are switching topics to Godzilla. However, the news is not limited to Academy City and Japan. The news becomes global at a rapid rate. In mainland Asia, Oceania, Europe, Africa, North and South America, everyone is hearing about the existence of Godzilla overtaking what is going on in the British Isles. Back in Academy City, it is all that everyone is talking about all morning long. In School District 8 at 9:05 a.m., the 7th Level 5 Esper Gunho Sugita looks up at the news on an airship on top of a tower. His white winter coat on his shoulders, black spiky hair, white headband, and his rising sun shirt flutters in the wind as he makes a grin. Man, no one told me there'd be kaiju in this world. Takes a lot of guts to face this one. Can't wait. In the dining room of the Tokibudai dormitory, the girls are discussing what has been going on. Kiniho Wanai and Maya Awatsuki, a level 3 and 4 respectively, talks with their friend Kongo about the kaiju. It's so weird that it exists, right? How are we supposed to deal with this? Girls, relax. As long as he's not anywhere near here, it's not even to worry about. Sitting at another table with her clique, with her back to them, Misaki Shokuho listens to everything that they are talking about as she sips on a cup of tea. My lady, what do you think? I think this is a little bit much, but it would explain things more clearly. She reaches into her handbag, pulls out a TV remote, and stares at it. Although a speculation, I wonder how easy it is to get into Godzilla's mind. The possibilities are endless. The stars within her eyes sparkles as her curiosity peaks. At 9:30 a.m. inside of their hideout, the mercenary group Item are chilling in the pool discussing the kaiju. The red-headed level 5 Esper, Shizuri Mugino, sitting in a pool lounger, laughs hysterically. That's what's been going on! What a fucking riot! The level 0 Esper Shianki Hamazura looks at his leader baffled. His girlfriend, the level 4 Rikuro Takitsubo, clings to him. Wait, you're not taking it seriously? Why would I? And even if that bastard comes to us, I'll let him destroy the city. That is not something that you should joke about. The second level 4, Sayai Kinuhata, rises from the water and looks at Mugino. I don't know about that. I think it would be ultra exciting to fight something like Godzilla. I was getting ultra bored of doing the same shit over and over again. Wouldn't you agree? An interesting point that makes Mugino have second thoughts. Now that you mention it, it would be challenging for once. I'll even throw Hamazura at him as bait. Oh, fuck off! With all of those opinions, however, there is one thing that is yet to be determined, and that is annihilation or research. both in Academy City and Japan. Inside of the meeting room of the windowless building, the chairman of Academy City and the first level 5 Esper Accelerator, real name unknown, is sitting at the head of the table with board members Monica Uyafume and Unibara sitting next to him. The others are 8 paleontologists and 3 scientists on one side, and 5 senior JSDF and ACDF officers on the other. Accelerator takes a sip of no-sugar black coffee as he listens to both sides argue. No. What do you mean, no? It's a terrible idea. Accelerator, please. We gave you several reasons why Godzilla needs to be kept alive, and we keep telling you that it's never going to happen. Do you really expect us to let you use that kaiju as a pet project and let the cities get destroyed? This could be the best possibility to research on how we can survive radiation sickness, or maybe even a cure. Out of the question. Are you ignoring all of the death that this thing caused? Of course not, but then forget it. We are not letting that kaiju destroy any more cities because of your ignorance. The conference turns into a heated argument between the officers and the scientists and paleontologists. An advisor to Tsukutashi Kazumi looks down and shakes her head. Accelerator sets the cup down on the table. Well, we're in a deadlock. Again. Who would have thought that something simple as Godzilla would become this heated? She looks at Accelerator and can see his white left eyebrow twitch. He brushes his white hair back and lets out an exhausting sigh. This is getting us nowhere. He lifts his right hand up and snaps his fingers. Instantly, everyone stops arguing and pays attention to the level 5 chairman. I could have sworn I was supposed to lead a city with competent adults, not a bunch of babies! Now shut the hell up so I can think. His blood-red eyes looks at both sides and thinks. Lead Godzilla away from Japan. That's all you have to do. I don't care how you do it, just do it. If it fails, then we'll talk. The decision is made. In mere moments, the news goes out. Minutes later, Accelerator in his office contacts Japanese Prime Minister Akihiro Shintani to tell him what he thinks the JSDF should do.
Lure him away? I guess we could use our destroyers to do that. Any chances of sending volunteers of the ACDF south? The chairman leans back in his chair.
You know our policy. The Academy City Defense Force was created on December 26 to defend the borders of Academy City itself and work in tandem with your Japan Self-Defense Force, just in case of any external threats within the limits of the Tokyo Prefecture.
Of course.
But if it doesn't work, then I'll send a few volunteers. And since they'll get on my ass about this, I'll send some of our scientists with them.
Thank you.
The call ends and Accelerator puts his feet on the table. Politics is a pain in the ass.